It's Shelly. So, with your homework last week, you should have realized what you want your freedom to be. So, whatever that is for you, it could be several things, it could be all the things. You just want freedom in your life. You want financial freedom, you want time freedom, you want employment freedom, you want physical, emotional freedom, all of it. We all want we all want to be free. We all want to be able to do the things we want to do. We all want to have the money. We all want to have lots of free time to do what we want when we want. That's what's most important, I think, is when you are in a 9 to 5 job and you have to get up every morning and go to work. Some people love that. And I love a good schedule. I love getting up and having my routine in the morning, but I also don't want anybody telling me I have to be at work at a certain time. I have to take a break at a certain time. I mean, as an adult, I shouldn't have to ask to go to the bathroom. That's how I feel about it. But some people love that structure, and good for them and good for you if that's what it is. If you love that, go for it. That's your freedom because you love structure because you don't have to think about it. So everybody is different. Everybody's freedom, everybody's happiness is different. So realizing what you want your freedom to be, and then time, financial, physical, emotional, and then, taking notes here, taking baby steps to start creating those freedoms in your life. So whatever you want those freedoms to be, you have to start taking baby steps. And the reason that you want to take baby steps instead of just jumping into something is because when you jump into something, you are not programmed. Your subconscious is going, whoa, that's not comfortable. That's not safe. And it will pull you back. And it will pull you back in the most amazing ways because we are all connected. This whole universe is connected. So when you do something against your programming, there will be people that get in the way. There will be situations that get in the way. There will be your own self that will get in the way. And you will just be like, what the heck is happening? I'm going towards what I want. Why isn't it coming to fruition? Why am I reaching so many blocks? Because your subconscious, that like primitive part of your mind is going, no, we can't do that. If we go too far that way, the saber-toothed tiger is going to eat us. We can't just run out of the cave and skip along the path. No, you have to be prepared. You have to do these things. So you have to teach that subconscious mind to believe the new things. And the other day when I was talking about putting money in your wallet, you can start wherever you need to start. You can start with $1 bill. You can start with a $5 bill. You could start with a $100 bill. If you can afford to put a $100 bill in your wallet and just have it sitting there and every once in a while spend it, when you go into situations where you're like, oh my God, I can't afford that. No, I can totally afford that. I have $100 in my wallet. So that's the baby steps, is you have to start somewhere. I started with a $5 bill in my wallet. Eventually, I had $300 or $400 worth of cash in my wallet. I don't carry that around all the time, so if you see me out in the world, don't think you can just mug me and take my $300. Anyways, if you want to change I'm just going to go through all of these. Did my voice just crack? I'm going to go through all of these things and just give you some ideas. So with the money, you can do that. You could buy a little extra something. You know, if you're out in the world and you're like, oh, I really want that new book. And you are like fretting like, oh my God, if I buy that. That new book is $10. Go buy it and enjoy it. So it's just those little things that work up to the big things. And pretty soon you're going to be like, I want that new hot tub. I'm going to go buy it because I know I'm going to enjoy it and I can totally afford it. So you start with something like a book or a coffee and you work your way up. So that's the financial. The time freedom, make little spaces of time just for you. If you are a busy mom, make those little times. Sometimes it's in the bathroom. Sometimes it's after they go to bed. I can remember doing that after my kids would go to bed. I would like have a candy bar or something stashed, and a few times when my daughter would be like, Mom, can you come here for a minute after she went to bed? And she'd be, and I'd talk to her. She'd go, Mom, I smell chocolate. Are you eating chocolate? I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. So you have to find those little pieces of time, and pretty soon they become bigger and bigger. I, as a mom, as a young mom, would always find things that I could go do. I always had like friend groups and we did stuff together. I went horseback riding all by myself several times when my kids were little. You have to make time for yourself, and that creates more and more time freedom. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and for me that was time freedom because I didn't have to pick and choose whether I was going to be able to stay home with a sick kid, because my son had asthma, and there was a couple times we were home for 2 weeks, him out of school, because he had a major asthma, what was it? I wanted to say spell, but that's not right. A major asthma event where it just took weeks for him to get over. So to me, that was time freedom, because I didn't have to go to a boss and go, I'm going to need to take a couple weeks off because my son... No, I got to stay at home. I made that a priority. And then now, as an empty nester, I'm still staying at home. I have my own business. So that creates that time freedom for me. Like today, I'm going to go see my grandson, and I don't have to wait for work to be over. I don't have to ask for a day off. I get to go see him whenever I want because I have my own business. So that's time freedom. But start small. Start with those little times. You know, if you want to meditate, if you want to do yoga, make the time. Wake up a little earlier. Go to bed a little later. Whatever that is for you. The financial freedom, we just talked about that. Physical, if you want to change your body, if you want to change your health, you have to do it a step at a time. You can't wake up tomorrow and go, I'm going to do keto, or I'm going to go down to 1,000 calories a day, or I'm going to go walk 5 miles tomorrow and do it every single day. No, you have to start out small. You have to start out maybe throwing out all the candy in your house, maybe going out and buying some good, healthy snacks that, you know, instead of reaching for the potato chips, you can reach for some hummus and carrot sticks. For some people that sounds disgusting. I love hummus and carrot sticks, so it sounds great to me. But you have to find those things that work for you. Don't go buy a bunch of rice cakes if you hate rice cakes. Go buy, you know, some apples and peanut butter. Apples and peanut butter is way better than, you know, eating a Hostess cupcake or whatever. So start slowly changing those things. If you want to start walking, go walk around the block. I knew a woman that was, this was years ago, she was like obese. And I'm talking probably at least 400 pounds. She was a very big woman. I don't know her anymore. If she happens to see this and she knows I'm talking about her, I hope she finds this as a compliment. And I talked to her. We actually took her daughter to Disney with us one time. This was like 25 years ago at least. Anyways, she was very, very large. And she got out of the relationship she was in, which was very emotionally abusive. And she said, the way I started exercising was, instead of sending the kids out to change the sprinkler in the yard, I would do it. And then from there, I started walking up the block and back, which was literally like maybe, 30 yards or 40 yards. And then I went from that to walking all the way around the block. And so that's how she did it. She didn't start out as an obese person thinking she could go walk 5 miles a day. She went and changed a sprinkler. And sometimes that's what it takes. Go outside and weed your flower garden. That is physical activity. Getting down on your knees, pulling weeds. For some people, they're going to be sore the next day because of that. And that's okay. Those are the baby steps. You have to take baby steps and work into the 5 miles a day, or work into the keto, the all keto diet. Do the little steps today to create more tomorrow. And when you're doing that, you're reprogramming your mind, because then your subconscious is like, oh, we can just have a healthy snack instead of a candy bar. We can go walk around the block instead of sit here and watch this next TV show, or, scroll on our phone or whatever. And then emotional freedom. That is when you have a better emotional life. You are happier. So that comes with complaining, lashing out at others, feeling bad about yourself. So all of those things need to be changed. So you have to take those baby steps to do that. So when you are, for me, my biggest emotional freedom challenge is when I'm driving. I come from a long line of road rage people. Not that I've ever gotten out of the car and been crazy, but when you're in the safety of your vehicle, you can say lots of things to other people and they don't hear it. But the universe hears it, and you're putting out that energy. So when you're like, no, cuss, you blah, 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 how dare you pull out in front of me? Have you ever pulled out in front of someone? I have. I've had someone have to come to a screeching halt to avoid hitting me because I wasn't paying attention. And I was just like, I just remember going, I am so sorry, because I was like looking right at the person because they almost T-boned me. I am so sorry. Oh my God. So we all make mistakes. When you're out in traffic, let that person in. When that person is going super slow in front of you, maybe they are just learning to drive. Maybe they're super old. Maybe they're just having major anxiety about driving. Maybe their car is a POS. Like, I don't know about you, but I've driven cars that drove a car. I bought it this was like my very first car. I say my first car was a Toyota Celica because that was my first real car that I drove. But my first real car that I bought with my own money, I actually traded 3 of my ponies for it. One of those ponies was my heart horse, and I was so upset with myself that I did that. But this car, I was coming home from work, and it wouldn't go over 35 miles an hour up a hill on a 55 speed limit hill. And I had probably 20 cars backed up behind me. So you just have to have the sympathy for those people. You just have to, instead of being upset, just be understanding and hope that maybe you can get around them pretty soon, and know that the universe is doing that to take care of you. Maybe there was going to be some major thing that happened and you were like, that's all I say to myself. Okay, this person's going super slow and I'm getting frustrated, but this is the universe's way of keeping me safe because there might have been something up there. So when you catch yourself doing that, pull yourself back. If just because you put it out there doesn't mean it's too late to pull it back and go, okay, this person is part of the universal plan that is helping me be safer, whatever. That comes with how you react to people. Nobody else is in charge of your happiness. Do other people frustrate you? Sure they do. But they do because you're letting them. And I know that that's a really hard pill to swallow. And I know for a lot of us, like the safety of family members and friends, sometimes we lash out at them and try to blame them for what's going on in our lives. And you have to stop doing that. So when you find yourself doing that, pull back. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for things that you've done in the past. You were doing the best you could with what you knew. When you know better, you do better. And you know better now. So you're doing better. All of those things, whether it's parenting, whether it's a crime that you committed, whether it's, whatever it is, you have to forgive yourself. You were doing the best you could at that time. And now that you know better, you're going to do better. So you just have to keep pulling yourself back emotionally and going, okay, can I really control that other person? No, you can't. The only thing that you can control is your reaction to other people. And you can have a reaction or a response. A reaction, reactive mode, is emotional, over crazy, like, blah, like road rage. A response is a thought out response. I always think of like horses, because I learned about natural horsemanship and using horse psychology to train them and work with them. And when a horse is in a reactive state, there's no getting through to them. So when you just jump on that young horse and you haven't done any preparation, any groundwork, any training, that horse is going to be reactive, because they're like, get this thing off of me, because their subconscious mind is going, this is a predator. Ah! So, you see those people that are like, you just buck them out. Like, that is so scary for a horse. When you teach them through their psychology, you're letting them use their responsive brain. So they're responding, they're thinking things through. They don't have to react, because you're not just jumping on them. If you think about being a horse and you just get jumped on, like cougars do that to horses, it's scary. So when you work your way up there and teach them, I can be on top of you, and I'm not going to kill you, we're going to ride and have a great time, then it's much easier. It takes more time, but that subconscious mind, when you teach it bit by bit, it will rewire and change. So I guess that's just like my whole point to this whole video today is, in order to create any sort of new freedom, any sort of new ways of living, you have to take it little bites at a time. Because if you just jump in, that reactive thing is going to happen with your subconscious mind. It's going to go, whoa, this is way too much. We don't do this. This isn't safe. So find those little things. Today, just start out. Like, if you want to be healthier, go throw out some junk food. And go throw it out in the nasty part of your garbage. Go put it out in the garbage can, so your neighbors would have to see you digging it out of the trash. For some of us, that's what we have to do. And I totally get it. Been there, done that. I have not dug in the trash, but I have definitely thrown things out in the trash so I wouldn't go back out and get them. Because sometimes when you're in your house, you might dig in the trash, and we don't want to do that. And I don't think I've ever done that, but I have taken it out to the outside trash just to make sure. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.